Today we're going to talk about scarcely populated countries. Basically countries that seem very big, but when it comes to population, they tell a different story. So here's how the video is going to look. We're going to see a bunch of different countries and we're going to see how much land is unusable from it. First scarcely populated country is Russia. You see, Russia is the biggest country in our entire Earth, covering 17 million square kilometers of land. So you think that the Russians would be able to use a lot of land for military bases and the such like. However, that isn't really the case because of the weather in Russia. You see, Russia is split into two parts, basically. There's the Russian Federation, which is the usable part and part of Europe. And then we have Siberia, which is the Asian part. And Siberia is what causes most of its land. Though because Siberia is nothing but an icy wasteland, they can't use any of that land, which makes it a scarcely populated country. Next is Canada. You may see that there's a lot of land too, as it's the second biggest country. But there is also not a lot of usable land. This is because of the islands and where it's located. Most of the southern parts of Canada seem to be a reasonable place to start civilization, and that's where most of the population is. Whereas in the northern parts or the icy parts, there's lots of islands, and of course they're cold, and those are the big parts of Canada. Yup, so there's not a lot of population there. Next, we're going to talk about two hot examples before we finally go. Next up is Egypt. Back in the ancient pharaoh times, the pharaohs discovered that a lot of the rich and fertile land came from near and in the Nile River, or the River Nile, and in the Nile Delta, which is a sort of big lake. And that's where a lot of cities or towns and villages and settlements are there, near the Nile River. Heck, if you look onto Google Maps and if you look when it's nighttime, you can see that Egypt's only population is mostly around the River Nile. It is a little bit scarcely populated down south, though it's mostly up north. So yeah, and final one, Australia. The only places where land is healthy enough to grow is in the southeast part of Australia. This is because it has a lot of cities like Canberra, Sydney, all that, whereas in the middle of the country, it's mostly desert. The only towns that aren't in the southeast part are cities like Perth, and they're one of the most isolated places on Earth. So yeah, that's all for today's video. Scarcely populated countries. Hope you enjoyed, and please like and subscribe. I don't normally say that, but you know. Alright, bye-bye.